Lexus GS 350, 2013-2020. From the moment you see it, the Lexus GS 350 doesn't just look like another luxury sedan. It feels like a statement, a bold message to the world that you don't need to scream with flashy badges or oversized grilles to prove reliability, comfort, and timeless design. Between 2013 and 2020, the Lexus GS 350 stood as one of the most quietly confident sedans in the luxury market, an underdog that kept delivering year after year. And today, we're diving deep into this incredible machine, its history, engineering, design, driving feel, and why so many people still believe the GS 350 is a car that can last forever if you treat it right. So buckle up, because by the time we're done, you might find yourself looking at the used market to hunt one down. The story of the Lexus GS line goes back to the early 1990s. Lexus wanted to compete directly with German rivals like BMW's 5 Series and Mercedes E-Class. But instead of copying them, Lexus did something different. They created a car that combined the Japanese obsession with reliability and engineering perfection, with the elegance and refinement expected of a European sedan. That philosophy continued through generations, and by the time the 2013 Lexus GS 350 arrived, the formula had been perfected. What makes the 2013-2020 GS 350 so special? Let's start with the heart of the machine, the engine. Under the hood, you'll find a naturally aspirated 3.5-litre V6 engine, smooth, balanced, and incredibly reliable. No turbos, no gimmicks, just pure mechanical harmony. This engine produces around 311 horsepower, giving you plenty of push when you need it, yet delivering it with silk-smooth refinement. Many owners have reported that with proper maintenance, this engine easily runs well past 200,000 miles without a sweat. Some even push beyond 300,000. That's the kind of longevity Lexus is famous for. But power is nothing without balance, and Lexus knew that. The GS 350 didn't try to be a hardcore sports car, but it offered something the competition sometimes forgot: the perfect balance between comfort and performance. Slide into the driver's seat, and you're met with thick leather seats, soft touch materials everywhere, and a cockpit designed to make you feel both relaxed and in control. Unlike some overly complicated German sedans, Lexus kept things intuitive. You could get in, start driving, and immediately feel at home. One of the standout features of the GS 350 was its available all-wheel drive system. This gave owners confidence in rain, snow, or any tough condition. Yet even in rear-wheel drive form, the GS handled beautifully. The steering was precise, and the chassis felt planted, almost as if it anticipated your next move. Drivers loved how easy it was to daily drive this car, yet still have fun on winding roads. Let's talk about reliability, because this is where the GS 350 really shines. Consumer reports, J.D. Power, and countless owner testimonials agree. The GS 350 is built like a tank. Where some competitors were plagued by electrical gremlins, transmission issues, or turbocharger failures, the Lexus GS 350 just kept going. Its transmission, an 8-speed automatic, was praised for smooth shifts and long-term durability. Electronics rarely failed, and when they did, repairs were usually far less expensive than on German alternatives. Owners often describe this car as bulletproof. You can take a 7-year-old GS, put it on the road for a cross-country trip, and it'll cruise effortlessly without making you nervous about breakdowns. That peace of mind is priceless, and it's one of the key reasons the GS 350 has become such a beloved used luxury sedan. But the GS 350 wasn't just about reliability, it also had style. The design language, known as the L-finesse philosophy, gave the car sharp, bold lines without going overboard. The signature spindle grille became a recognizable face for Lexus. Some people found it controversial at first, but with time, it aged gracefully. Park a 2015 or 2018 GS 350 today, and it still looks modern. The proportions are timeless, with a long hood, sleek roofline, and strong stance that make it look elegant yet muscular. Step inside, And you'll discover why so many Lexus fans refuse to drive anything else. The interior of the GS 350 feels handcrafted. Real wood trims, supple leather, and thoughtful ergonomics give you the sense that this wasn't just a car assembled by machines, it was a car built with pride. And unlike many cars from the same era, the Lexus interior doesn't fall apart with time. Buttons don't peel, dashboards don't crack, and the leather, with proper care, looks great even after a decade. Technology-wise, Lexus equipped the GS with features that felt ahead of their time. You had a massive infotainment display, premium Mark Levinson sound system, adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring, and more. While the remote touch interface had its critics, it worked a bit like a joystick to control the screen. It was still a solid system that got the job done. The important thing was that the tech aged well. Even today, a 2016 GS 350 feels modern enough to compete with newer sedans. But here's what really sets the GS 350 apart. It gives you the luxury experience without the luxury headaches. Many European luxury sedans are a dream to drive when new, but become nightmares after 5 or 6 years. Expensive parts, frequent breakdowns, and electronic failures drain your wallet. The GS 350 avoids that trap. It's the kind of car you can buy used, enjoy for years, and not fear the maintenance bills every time you step into a dealership. And let's not forget value. Today, you can find a well-maintained 2013, 2017 Lexus GS 350 for a fraction of what it cost new. Considering the reliability, luxury, and performance you're getting, it's one of the smartest purchases in the used car market. Car enthusiasts often say, buy it, drive it, and thank yourself later. Now imagine this. You're driving down a highway in a GS 350, the sun setting in the distance, Mark Levinson's sound system playing your favorite track, and the car effortlessly gliding at 70 miles per hour. No rattles, no stress, no worry about what's happening under the hood, just pure, refined comfort. That's the Lexus promise, and it's what makes this car unforgettable. The GS 350 may have been discontinued in 2020, but its legacy is alive. Owners cherish it, collectors admire it, and drivers who take a chance on it often wonder why they didn't buy one sooner. It's not just a car, it's an experience, a reminder of what happens when reliability and luxury meet in perfect harmony. So, is the Lexus GS 350 one of the most reliable old luxury sedans that can last forever? Absolutely. Its proven V6 engine, durable transmission, timeless design, and world-class build quality make it a shining star in Lexus history. Whether you're a first-time buyer looking for a luxury experience or a seasoned driver seeking something dependable, the GS 350 deserves your attention. And here's the truth. Some cars are just machines built for transport, but a select few become legends. The Lexus GS 350 is one of those legends. And that wraps up our deep dive into the Lexus GS 350, a car that proves reliability and luxury can go hand in hand. But we're just getting started. In the next part of this series, we'll explore another timeless luxury sedan that has earned its place in automotive history. So make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and stay tuned, because the journey into cars that last forever is only just beginning. Genesis G90, 2017-2022. If you thought the luxury car market was all about German dominance, BMW, Mercedes, Audi, then think again. Because in 2017, something unexpected rolled onto the scene. A car that didn't just whisper luxury but shouted innovation, comfort, and bold ambition. That car was the Genesis G90, a full-size luxury sedan that dared to take on the legends. Today, we're exploring the Genesis G90, 2017-2022, a car that many once underestimated, but which quickly proved itself as one of the smartest, most luxurious, and most underrated sedans of its generation. Let's rewind for a moment. Genesis, as a standalone luxury brand, was still new in 2017. Hyundai, the parent company, had already been quietly climbing the automotive ladder. Starting with economy cars, then moving into respectable sedans and SUVs, Hyundai decided it was time to take a bold leap into true luxury territory. And that leap came in the form of Genesis. The G90 wasn't just another luxury sedan. It was a declaration. We belong here. Competing directly with the Mercedes-Benz S-Class, BMW 7 Series, Audi A8, and Lexus LS, the Genesis G90 had some massive shoes to fill. But here's the twist. It didn't try to copy its rivals. Instead, it offered its own formula, unmatched. Value, bulletproof reliability, and a focus on what really mattered to drivers and passengers alike. Comfort and peace of mind. Now let's talk about power. The Genesis G90 gave buyers two strong choices. First, a smooth 3.3-litre twin-turbo V6, pushing out around 365 horsepower. For those wanting more muscle, there was the naturally aspirated 5.0-litre V8 with 420 horsepower. Both engines were paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission that delivered silky smooth shifts. Whether you chose the V6 or the V8, the G90 had plenty of power to glide down the highway effortlessly. And glide is exactly what it did. Owners often describe the ride quality as cloud-like. Adaptive suspension soaked up bumps. The cabin was whisper quiet, and long trips felt less like driving and more like floating. If you closed your eyes, you could have easily mistaken it for a car twice its price. That's how refined it felt. But luxury isn't just about power and comfort. It's about the details. And the Genesis G90 excelled here. Step inside, and you're greeted with quilted leather seats, real wood trims, and a design that felt both modern and timeless. Unlike some rivals that overloaded interiors with flashy tech and gimmicks, the G90 kept things simple, yet elegant. It offered everything you needed: heated and ventilated seats, rear executive seating options, a premium Lexicon sound system, adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring, and it delivered all of it without unnecessary complexity. Now here's the kicker: the price. When new, the Genesis G90 cost significantly less than a comparably equipped S-Class or 7 Series, and yet it offered nearly the same features and comfort. For many buyers, it was a no-brainer. Why spend $100,000 or more on a German sedan when you could get the G90 for tens of thousands less without sacrificing reliability? Reliability. This is where Genesis really stood apart. While German rivals often struggled with expensive repairs and maintenance nightmares, the G90 delivered something rare in the luxury segment: peace of mind. Both the V6 and V8 engines proved robust, the transmission rarely caused issues, and the electronics were far more dependable than those of the competition. For buyers who wanted a luxury car without the headaches, the G90 was a dream come true. But here's what made the G90 even more attractive. It came with one of the best warranties in the industry. Genesis offered a 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, something unheard of in the luxury world. Imagine buying a car that gives you both world-class comfort and long-term security. That's exactly what Genesis promised, and it worked. Now, some critics argued that the Genesis brand lacked prestige. It didn't have the century-old heritage of Mercedes or BMW. But here's the fascinating part: many owners didn't care. In fact, they loved the exclusivity. Driving a Genesis meant you were making a smart, confident choice, not just following the crowd. It was luxury for those who thought differently. And slowly, the G90 began to earn respect, not just as a value luxury car, but as a genuine competitor. The 2020 refresh made it even better. With an updated design, a bolder grille, and more tech, the G90 stepped into the spotlight. Reviewers praised its balance of elegance and confidence. And owners, they couldn't stop raving about how much car they got for their money. Let's paint a picture. You're sitting in the back seat of a G90, perhaps the V8 model. The seat reclines. Your feet rest on soft carpeting. The Lexicon speakers surround you with crystal-clear sound. And the cabin is so quiet, you can hear your own breathing. Outside, the world rushes by, but inside, time feels slower, calmer. That's the Genesis experience. And yet here's the most surprising part. the G90 is holding up beautifully in the used car market. Unlike some rivals that lose their charm after a few years, the G90 still feels fresh. With proper maintenance, it can easily last well beyond 150,000 or 200,000 miles, all while delivering the same comfort and serenity it offered on day one. So, was the Genesis G90 perfect? Not quite. Some critics didn't love the infotainment interface, and others felt the steering was a little too soft compared to German sedans. But let's be real, this car wasn't built for track days. It was built to pamper, to glide, and to impress, with refinement. And in that mission, it succeeded brilliantly. The legacy of the Genesis G90 is still young, but make no mistake, it has already left its mark. It proved that a new brand could enter the most competitive segment in the industry, and not just survive but thrive. It forced the old players to take notice, and it gave buyers a new way to experience true luxury. So, is the Genesis G90 one of the best-kept secrets in the luxury car world? Absolutely. It's a sedan that combines bold ambition with lasting reliability, comfort with confidence, and exclusivity with peace of mind. For those who dare to be different, the G90 isn't just an option. It's a statement. And that wraps up our journey into the Genesis G90. A car that proved luxury doesn't have to come with endless headaches and insane price tags. But our story isn't over yet. In the next part, we'll dive into a true Japanese legend, the Lexus LS 460, and uncover why it remains one of the most iconic, long-lasting luxury sedans ever built. So don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and join us for part 3. Lexus LS 460, 2007-2017. Picture this. It's the late 1980s. The luxury car world is ruled by giants, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Jaguar. They've been around for decades, building cars that symbolize wealth, status, and prestige. Nobody expected a Japanese company, known mainly for reliable economy cars, to even dream of competing. But then came Lexus. And everything changed. The LS series was Lexus's opening punch in the luxury world. And by the time we got to the Lexus LS 460, 2007-2017, it had become more than just a car. It was a statement, a masterpiece of engineering, comfort, and reliability that not only challenged the Europeans, but, in many ways, outshined them. Let's set the stage. The 2007 LS 460 was born at a time when technology was advancing rapidly. Lexus wanted to prove they weren't just about building reliable cars. They could innovate, impress, and even shock the world. And shock the world they did. The LS 460 came with something groundbreaking, the world's first 8-speed automatic transmission. Yes, before BMW, before Mercedes, Lexus was already giving drivers buttery smooth gear shifts and incredible efficiency with this technological marvel. But the LS 460 wasn't just about numbers and tech, it was about an experience. Slide behind the wheel, and you were greeted with a cabin that felt like a sanctuary. Supple leather seats that seemed to hug you, hand-finished wood trim, whisper-quiet isolation from the outside world. This was the definition of serenity on wheels. Now, let's talk power. Under the hood, the LS 460 packed a 4.6-litre V8 engine, delivering around 380 horsepower. It wasn't the fastest luxury sedan on the market, but that wasn't the point. The LS 460 wasn't about brute force, it was about effortless, refined performance. Smooth acceleration, seamless shifting, and a ride so comfortable you'd forget you were even moving. And then there was the tech. Lexus loaded the LS 460 with innovations that left buyers stunned. Advanced adaptive cruise control, pre-collision systems, lane keeping assist, parking sensors. It had all the gadgets you'd expect from a German flagship, but wrapped in a package that actually worked reliably year after year. One of the most jaw-dropping features was the self-parking system. Back in 2007, when most people were still figuring out Bluetooth, the LS 460 could literally park itself. For many buyers, it felt like driving a car from the future. But here's the thing, The LS 460 wasn't just about luxury and tech. It was about peace of mind. Lexus had built a reputation for bulletproof reliability, and the LS 460 proudly carried that torch. While owners of German luxury cars often dreaded expensive repairs and electrical gremlins, LS 460 owners slept easy. With proper maintenance, these cars were known to sail past 200,000 miles and keep going strong. And let's not forget about the legendary Lexus build quality. Every stitch in the interior, every button, every panel, it all felt solid, precise, and built to last. This was a car where craftsmanship wasn't just a buzzword. It was the entire philosophy. Now, here's the best part. The LS 460 managed to combine all this luxury and reliability at a price that undercut its German rivals. When new, it offered everything the S-Class or 7 Series did, but often for tens of thousands less. And today, in the used market, it's one of the smartest buys for anyone looking for a dependable luxury sedan. Let's talk about the driving experience. Imagine gliding down the highway at night. The V8 hums quietly in the background, the adaptive air suspension smooths out every bump, and the cabin feels like a private concert hall thanks to the Mark Levinson premium sound system. Outside, chaos might reign, but inside your LS 460, it's pure calm. That's what Lexus mastered, making every drive feel like a retreat. But of course, no car is perfect. Some critics pointed out that the LS 460 lacked the sharp driving dynamics of a BMW 7 Series or the prestige of a Mercedes S-Class badge. It wasn't the car you bought to impress strangers at the valet. Instead, it was the car you bought to impress yourself, because you valued comfort, quality, and intelligence over flashy badges. And in many ways, that's why the LS 460 built such a loyal following. Owners didn't just like their cars, they loved them. Stories abound of LS 460S running flawlessly for years with minimal repairs, racking up hundreds of thousands of miles while still feeling brand new. By 2013, Lexus gave the LS 460 a facelift, sharper styling, updated tech, and even more refinement. The spindle grille design divided opinions, but nobody could deny the improvements inside and out. Lexus was determined to keep the LS relevant in a fiercely competitive segment, and they succeeded. Here's an interesting fact. While German brands often focused on pushing boundaries with complex features that sometimes broke, Lexus focused on perfecting what mattered: comfort, reliability, and craftsmanship. And that's exactly why, even today, the LS 460 stands tall as one of the most dependable luxury sedans ever made. Think of it this way. If the Mercedes S-Class was the flashy superstar and the BMW 7 Series was the athletic rival, then the Lexus LS 460 was the wise master, quietly confident, unshakably reliable, and built for the long game. And the long game is exactly what it delivered. Even a decade later, LS 460S are still turning heads, not because they scream for attention, but because they exude timeless class. It's the kind of car that ages gracefully, like a fine wine. So there you have it, the Lexus LS 460 2007-2017, a car that didn't just compete with the giants of luxury, it redefined what true luxury meant. Quiet strength, unmatched reliability, and comfort that made every journey unforgettable. With that, we wrap up our trilogy: Acura TLX, Genesis G90, and Lexus LS 460. 3 luxury cars that proved you don't always need to follow the crowd to experience greatness. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and share this video with someone who loves cars as much as you do. And as always, drive safe, stay inspired, and keep chasing your dreams.